Okay. So given a point on a random circle, so we don't know the radius, if they're not telling us it's a unit circle point, let this point be, or let P be a point on the terminal side of angle theta, drawn in standard position. Find sine theta and cotangent theta. Mhm. Okay. So we have to remember that x squared plus y squared is equal to r squared for a general circle. So if it's centered at the origin but doesn't have a unit 1 radius, then we have to find r. So plug in your x, plug in your y, find your r. So what is that going to be? No idea. Put on my online calculator, I guess.
29, I think.
Yeah, that's right. So this will become 841. Square root it. We said 29, yeah. All right. Another way you can think about it, this is a triangle, technically. My x and my y are this. Oops. R is the radius. Okay. So what is sine theta? Knowing that it's equal to y over r and cotangent theta, knowing that it is x over y. What do you think is sine?
Uh, so the y is negative 21, and then we said the radius is 29, so negative 21 over 29.
So negative 0.17.
What he said.
So, so on that formula, we said sine will be negative when the y is negative, and x is positive. So that's which quadrant is this?
Y. R.
Any questions on number one?
So it ends like that, pretty much.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. So there's no reason to further process. Oh.
Okay.
If they wanted in decimal precision, we would just boop it in the calculator, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I guess you could do long division, but that'd be weird. I wouldn't do that. Find the reference angles. So the approach will change depending on the location. So this is kind of let me screenshot the formulas. All right, so if it's in quadrant one, then the answer is just the same thing you started with. If it's in quadrant two, if you look at the thing, you take 180 degrees and you subtract it by your theta, or pi minus your theta if it's in radians. If it's in quadrant three, you take theta minus 180, or pi. If it's in quadrant four, you subtract from 360. So it'd be 360 minus the angle we're talking about. So part A, which quadrant is this in? Yeah, it looks like three. So what we would do is take 225 minus 180, which gives us what?
45.
It looks like it. Okay. Now for part B,
Are we in quadrant 4?
which quadrant is that?
Is that the fourth one right there? Fourth.
Yeah, I think you're right. And if it's in the fourth, we have to follow.
330. So would it be 30?
Yeah. Well, if we change it to degrees, yeah, I think you're right. If we use radians, it would be 11 pi 6 minus 2 pi. Because the rule says what? 360 or 2 pi?
Okay.
Oh, I got it backwards. It's 2 pi minus that. I mean, you could convert it and then subtract with degrees and then convert it back. Because the answer, they'll expect the answer in radians if it starts in radians.
Mm.
So 2 pi minus 11 pi over 6.
Pi 6.
Common denominator is 6, right? So introduce 6. That gives me 12 pi over 6 minus 11 pi over 6, which is pi over 6, which is your 30 degrees, right?
Okay.
Let me make that prettier. Okay. Any questions on A or B? Do you see why we approached it this way? It just depends on the location.
On our quizzes, will there be options where it's in degrees or radians, or just assume like if they start in radians, we want the answer in radians?
Yeah, assume that.
Okie dokie.
I mean, it should accept both, but I wouldn't trust it.
Okay.
Yeah, just stick with whatever they started with. Okay. So when it's negative, you gotta first shift it to the positive version and then give the reference. Do you remember how we correct for the negative angles? Or how we change it to positive?
We flip it and reverse it by uh, adding on a full circle.
Yeah, just add a full circle.
Wait, 1.
So add 2 pi, all right? Get your common denominator. It's a negative. So um, multiply by 3 over 3. Negative 2 pi thirds plus 6 pi thirds gives me 4 pi thirds, right? Where is 4 pi thirds on the circle? Which quadrant? I mean,
Mm.
excuse me.
Oh, it's in the third.
Yeah, it's in the third, and the rule for the third is you subtract
Pi.
180 or pi, right? This is there we go. 4 pi thirds minus 3 pi thirds, which is pi over 3. I'll write a little note. I'm not going to have space for D here. From here to here, changed it to a positive angle. Here to here, find reference angle. I didn't write notes on the others, so I feel like I should here. Any questions on A, B, or C?
Mm.
With the radians, because I know most of us are like in degree math mentally.
Mhm.
Um, what would be like a good way to like conceptualize what quadrant it's in when we were looking at radians?
Well, these should be angles on the circle, but you're asking if it's not on the circle.
Yeah.
At that point, I would just use the calculator to figure out where exactly is it. Like, for example, pi is 3.14, right? So
Mm-hmm.
if it's between pi and 3 pi over 2, it should be like between 3 and like forget that decimal. Let me see. I don't trust my phone calculator. Let me do something else.
The first seven digits of pi is 3141592.
So if we wanted it to be in quadrant 3, you would say it'd be between 3.14 and 4.7. So if you would convert the endpoints of the quadrants, you can kind of just divide this or divide whatever to get the decimal.
Okie dokie.
So I would just use decimals to figure it out or
Okay.
convert it to a degree. That might be shorter.
Okay.
But first thing I would check is see if it's on the circle. And most of the time it is. But if it isn't, then I say just convert it. I think that's the simplest way.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's move on here. You guys cool on A, B, and C?
Yeah.
All right. So just have those notes of what do I do on in which quadrant? Okay. Okay. Is 135 on the circle?
Yep.
Hmm.
Yeah. It's in the second quadrant, 3 pi over 4 in reds.
So if they wanted us to use reference, which I guess is fine. You said it's in quadrant 2, right?
Yeah.
So we would subtract from 180. So this is the same as equal to cosine of 180 degrees minus 135, which is cosine 45, right? Yeah. The only thing is, I don't see how that's helpful. Also, we need to remember that in this quadrant, cosine is negative. So this guy is root 2 over 2, but this one is negative root 2 over 2.
Is that where we go back to kind of
Mm.
what we were learning with
Yeah, and
the,
honestly, let me show you the question. I don't see why reference angles would be necessary. I think it's kind of dumb. I think they're useful when you have really large angles or negative, but
Oh, like the ones that go around the circle multiple times.
yeah, those type. That's what I mean by like really large. Check this out. Can you see the question?
Yeah.
So they want us to find the reference angle, which we did is 45, and then find the exact value, but 135 is on the circle, so you can just find it, move on. 240 is also on the circle, right?
Yeah.
What about 5 pi 6?
Mm,
Yes, in the second quadrant.
So 4, 5, and 6, I don't see how reference angle benefits us in any way, but we should know how to find them if they ask, which we already did. 7, 8, and 9, the angles are large or negative, so we have to adjust. I think those are a little bit more interesting. So let's do 7. So since it's negative, what would y'all do?
Go,
we add
you go clockwise. Oh yeah, you gotta. Never
we
mind.
add the circle back in.
Yeah, sometimes you have to add multiple circles, right? So don't be scared to add 4 pi or 6 pi. I'm gonna do it over here. Negative 11 pi over 6 plus 2 pi. So it's simply this one. So this is cosecant of pi over 6. So what would that be?
One half.
Yeah. Well, what is this? Cosecant would be the sine, right?
Hmm.
So the 1 over sine. So sine is 1/2, correct? Let me go pull up the circle.
Yeah, please.
So 2.
Yeah, so this is the same as 1 over sine of pi over 6,
Hmm.
which is the same as 1 over 1/2, which is 2. Any questions on 7?
I think I just get lost in the after I figure out what the pi over six and then the sim over one over sim pi over six.
Yeah, just remember that the circle only gives you the sine and cosine. So if you need the reciprocal, you're gonna have to flip it over. So if you have a half as a sine, then just flip it over as 2 over 1, right?
Okay.
That's why it's 2. And this is the algebra why it's 2 as well. But the definition of cosecant is 1 over sine. So you can use the circle here. Alrighty, let's do number 8. I think it might fit in here. Cotangent of 540 So 540 is clearly multiple, at least more than one circle, right? Around the unit circle. So subtract 360. What is that going to be? Now 180?
180.
What he said.
Okay. That's less than a circle, so plug it in. What is cotangent at 180?
It's the reciprocal of tangent, right?
Yeah.
So that would be 1 over tangent 180.
Hmm. And 180 is negative 1 comma 0, right?
Cannot compute.
Yeah. So this is the same. We can also write it this way. Make it more obvious. This is the same as x over y, which is negative 1 over 0, which is a problem, right? So it's undefined at this angle. Okay. All right, let's move on. I think we're gonna have one last question here. All right, let's do two more, and then we'll call it a minute. I'll send you. So technically, this. Let me see. Pause this. Number 11. Given that sine theta is equal to negative square root 55 over 8, and cosine theta is less than 0. Find cotan theta and cosine theta. So which quadrant is theta in? Given all this hint, these two hints here. Because they're saying the sine is negative, so the y value is negative, right? Cosine is negative, so the x value is negative. So which quadrant has sine and cosine both negative?
Uh, the notes page with the cute colored quadrant thing. Um, the third one,
Yeah.
it's in the red square.
Since both
I think
sine
that's the
and
color red.
cosine are negative, then we are in quadrant 3. All right. Ready? So what is my y value? I'll make a note just in case you forgot.
Uh, what you gonna call it? Sine is y, cosine is x.
Yeah, but we'll say we also have a radius since we're not saying it's a unit circle.
Oh yeah.
So this means that y is negative root 55 and r is 8. So we have to solve for x. So use the formula to find x. So x squared plus negative root 55 squared is equal to 8 squared. That gives us this. That means that x squared is what? 64 minus 55? That 9?
9.
Now remember, anytime you square root both sides, you technically have a plus or minus. So which one do I choose for x? Plus or minus? I didn't show the plus or minus last time because it didn't matter.
Should we plug it in?
Um, but now that we're talking about different quadrants, we have to know when is x negative right now? Or is x positive in quadrant 3?
Negative.
Yeah, so we got to use this one. So now we can answer the questions, right? What is cosine?
3 over 8.
What is cotangent?
3 over negative 55.
Yeah. So it'd become positive, right?
Yes.
Now you might have to rationalize this, but technically this is the answer. I'm out of space. You could multiply the top and bottom by root 55. On an exam, I would accept both, but I don't know if the program's cool with both of these. But if I saw on your paper that your work was good and you made a small error, it doesn't matter. Any questions on 11?
So you're going to review our paperwork, like if we have notes, and compare it to the answers, and then from there, if possible, give
Yeah.
us a possible or give us points for it.
Yeah, what I'm gonna do is grade the actual work. So
Okay.
if your work's solid, then it doesn't matter what answer choices you picked, but if your work is trash, then I might have to change your actual grade. Okay. Although there are some questions that don't need work, so I'll probably let certain ones slide, like graphs or something. I don't really care about that. Some simple basic stuff. or conceptual questions. You guys cool on 11? All right, so let me know. Do one last one, similar to the previous. Given secant theta equal to 41 over 40 for theta in quadrant 4, find tangent theta and sine theta. So remember that secant theta is what is it? 1 over cosine or r over x, right? So r is 41, x is 40. We'll use this guy to find the y. That is
Y is 9.
looks like it, yeah. That's from -9 though. What quadrant? Which quadrant are we in?
You see, we're in quadrant 4, so it'd be
Plus or minus?
Minus?
Yeah, it's going to be minus because um, y is negative in quadrant 4.
mm,
Okay, so we got x equal to 40, y equal to -9, r equal to 41. So what is tangent? What is, what's the other one they wanted? Sine.
mm. Apologize. You probably showed this earlier. So that YX and that YR is coming from that 4.4
Yeah,
information.
it's in the notes.
Okay, I just wanted to make
Has
sure
all
because
of
I'm
has
I
all
know
of them.
you're going through it and I'm like, I know it's simple, but we're just kind of filling in
No,
the
you're okay. That's why I wrote them because I don't expect you to have these memorized just yet.
okay. So that's the reason I was like, okay, perfect.
But
Thank
now
you.
that they're there, you know you can see the answer, right?
Exactly.
It's going to be this guy and this. Okay. Any questions on this last problem here? All right. Well, we'll stop here then. X equal 40. So that was given to us. So remember that secant is equal to R over X. And they said secant was 41 over 40. So if R is 41, X is 40. Use this formula to solve for Y. And once you have Y, then you can get any of the trig functions. Once you have all three, X, Y, and R, yeah, you're good. Any other questions? Let me take roll real quick. Before I forget. Okay. Alejandra's here. Nestor, Amaya,
I'm here.
Elijah Brooks,
Here.
Ana Castillo,
Here.
Wendy Cuellar. No Wendy. Anita Delgado. Anita's not here. Okay. Ruben Garcia,
Here.
Hakeem Hassan, not here. Alyssa Arevia, no Alyssa. Adam Hernandez,
Here.
Christy Ho,
Here.
Nolan Lopez, no Nolan. Sawyer Miller,
Gotta find my mic button, but yes, I'm here.
gotcha. Luis Bas,
Here.
Madeline Benya, no. Alexis Riojas,
Here.
Alicia Salinas, no Alicia. Raul San Miguel, not here. Alfred Cerna,
Here.
Matthew Vigil,
Here.
Saida Zaidi.
Here.
All right. All right, guys. I
Hey,
know
so
that I think I
hey,
gotcha.
sir, hello, can you hear me? My
Anita's
mic wasn't
there.
working.
Yeah.
So,
Is that Nolan?
yeah, sir, Nolan Lopez.
Okay, I got you. All right. Nolan, Anita, Matthew, Alejandra. All right. Okay. You guys have any questions? And if you don't, we can head out. And if you do, you can stick around for a little bit.
I left some questions in the chat.
They'll be similar. I mean, they'll be similar to the review. And review will be similar to our homework.
But they won't be exactly the same as from the homework.
Well, they won't be exactly the same, but it will be same types of questions, just different numbers.
That makes
Maybe you'll
sense.
see one that's exactly the same, but
All right. So, do we have to use the calculator that specifically you told us to get, or can we use a different one?
I'm cool with you using other calculators, but I'm only going to use the 83 or 84 in class.
All right. That was my only question.
Okay.
There were still more questions in the message.
Oh, let me see. No, the tests, we haven't finished the material for the test yet. It'll be 4-1 through 4-6.
Okay.
And then 4-7 will not be on the test. So I'm gonna send, I think we just finished what, 4-5, right? So I'm gonna send you 4-6 later and the review. Um, no, I'm sorry. I'm gonna send you 4-5, 4-6 in the review as soon as possible if we don't do it in class. But I'll probably send you a couple of those to save time.